and welcome to Healing 101. Hey guys, my name is Dr. Manifa Jones. I'm super excited to come to you on this terrific Tuesday. Guys, I'm excited all this week because we are talking about self-love, we are talking about believing in ourselves, and we are talking about depositing into ourselves. I'm pumped up and excited in case you don't know. If you're new, my name is Dr. Manifa Jones. I'm a transformational life coach. In addition to that, I'm a previous college professor. I taught psychology. Who goes? I mean, there it goes, right? And in addition to that, guys, I want you to know that I'm a business owner. I'm a health and wellness business distributor. I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm a wife, a mother, a sister, a daughter, and effectively today, I'm your friend. Get excited and welcome to Healing 101. So everybody, hey Mama Lester, we are talking this week about believing in ourselves, and we're talking this week about making a deposit into ourselves, Cheryl. I'm so excited about talking about depositing into ourselves because I know that for the most part, most of us are used to making withdrawals. Most of us are used to people pulling from us. Most of us are used to being depleted of all of our joy, our energy, our money, our time, our talents. And so us being super, super duper intentional about depositing into ourselves, Mama Lester, that's exciting, right? Because we know the more we give to ourselves, the more we will be there for our family and for our friends. And the more that we take away from ourselves, the more at the same time we will not be there for others because we will be depleted, right? So let's talk about deposits. Get excited. So one of the first areas we want to focus on depositing into our lives, and this is just an area of priority for me, is our spirituality, right? There are always 5 areas of our life that we want to be intentional about, right? One of the first ones are spirituality. So let's talk about Forever Grateful. What are we doing on a daily basis to be intentional about increasing or improving our spirituality? First of all, there is nothing, Tiambe, nothing that we can do, nothing that we can do to try to get better in the grace of God. There's nothing we can do. We are perfect in His sight, and we need to understand that. We are not broken. We don't need to be repaired. There are some challenges, yes, that we have been through, but spiritually, we want to know, how are we connecting to ourselves? What are we doing on a daily basis that is putting deposits into ourselves? Back at you, Queen. So on a daily basis, do you have a schedule? Do you have a time that you pray? Do you have a time that you read? Do you have a time that you meditate? Do you have a time that you journal? See, yesterday we talked about most people find meditation odd. Even Christians think it's weird. Even though the Bible says meditate on His word day and night. The Bible says it. But even Christians are like, I don't want to do that. It seems weird, right? But let me tell you, the reason why people find meditation so intrusive, the reason why people find meditation so awkward and so weird, is because you're faced with yourself. It's because no one is there to give you advice. You have to get it from yourself, your higher self. No one is there to comfort you when the feelings come up of I am less than, the feelings come up of I'm not good enough, of the feelings come up of I've missed the boat, of the feelings come up of, oh, it's too late for me to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. When those feelings come up, there's no one there to rub your back. There's no one there to kiss your forehead. There's no one there to put a Band-Aid on the wound. And so a lot of times what we do, guess what we do? We just leave the wound, and we really think that we're just going to live our lives out of that wound. But what we end up doing, which is why it's so important that we spend time alone, what we end up doing is we end up bleeding on everybody. And we absolutely, hey, Jamar, we have to be intentional about elevation. There comes a time in your life where you don't have to wait for 2023 for the ball to drop. You don't have to wait for the world to say, what is your New Year's resolution for you to get it together? You don't have to wait for social media to say, list your New Year's resolution here, when their whole intention is to give you advertisements, because if you want to lose weight and you list your New Year's resolution as losing weight, then they're going to be like, okay, let's target her for a gym membership. And if you want to make more money and there are business opportunities, oh, let's target him for a new career, for a business opportunity. How can I get him to download this app? How can I get him to sign up for this course? How can I get her to make a monthly subscription to a promise that I can't fulfill? So I'm basically going to tell you, sign up for this prescription. Pay $19.99 a month. Pay $30.99 a month. And but I'm going to promise you something that I absolutely can't guarantee. I'm going to tell you right now, save your money. If you really want to go to the next level next year, if you really want to live your life, I'm talking about beyond limits. If you really, really, really want to take a hold of your future and really understand the responsibility that you have to create it, guess what I'm going to tell you? Save your money. I'm going to tell you to deposit into yourself. And I'm going to tell you to take the time to sit alone to find out what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. I told you yesterday that your visions are limited by your weaknesses. Many of us have documented visions that are beneath us because we are operating from a place of lack. We are operating from a place of not having the belief in ourselves. We are operating from a place of a lack of confidence, so that when we write out those New Year's resolutions, or we write out our dreams for our future, or we make a decision deep down in our heart and our soul, or we're going to change this. We are absolutely going to change this. When we get that in our heart and our soul, guess what? If you just get by yourself, just for a little while, just for a little while, if you get alone and say, what is it that I need to do to elevate? I need to deposit into my life spiritually, number one. What time have I set aside that I'm actually going to meditate and journal? I know I've been through a lot. I know I've been hurt. Okay, that's a part of my story. But am I going to let myself lead with bleeding for the rest of my life? Or am I going to attempt to start to heal? That's what Healing 101 is about. It's for you understanding your potential. It's for you stop putting limitations on your capabilities. It's about you unleashing yourself. We talked yesterday about, are you the lion, are you the gazelle? If you were with us yesterday and you're a lion, go ahead and put 1 in the comments. Lions wake up every day deciding what they're going to conquer. Gazelles wake up every day trying to hide from being conquered by the lion. That means the gazelle is in survival mode. You have to make a determination in your heart. You're not going to live your life in survival mode. You're not going to live your life with your back against the wall. You're not going to live your life not being informed, being uninformed, uneducated. Whose fault is that? We don't have a place for blame here, but we absolutely have to have a place for responsibility. And we absolutely have to say the frightened parts of my personality that keep showing up. I know for me, let me tell you, Jamar, the frightened parts of my personality, the frightened parts of my personality, they just kept showing up. They just kept saying, we scared. They kept saying, we're afraid. They kept saying, we have no courage. They kept saying, I don't think we're going to make it. And guess what I had to say? Oh, no. I'm scared. Yeah. But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm petrified. I'm petrified. I don't know what the end is going to be, but we're going to do it anyway. The lion doesn't limit itself because it knows it has the capability to do it. So I'm going to ask you this question right here and right now. Do you even believe that you have the capability? Thanks, Mom. She's a lion. Do you even believe that you have the capability to live your life in a way that you've never imagined? Do you even believe it? Most of us don't even have that belief in ourselves. That's why I told you that step one is belief in self. Step one is understanding that if it is to be, it is up to me. Step one is understanding that I must be the change that I want to see in the world. It starts with me. And so with that being said, we have to determine if it's even a priority for us to get involved in this self-healing, self-care, self-love journey in the first place. Because you can take the option of being in survival mode for the rest of your life. You can do that if you want to. But I'm just saying, if I were you, I wouldn't do that. I definitely wouldn't sign up for that. I would definitely walk towards prosperity. What if I don't achieve it? At least go in that direction. You never know. All the times you limited yourself so much that you never even tried. What if you actually try this time? What if you actually put forth some effort? What if you actually believe in yourself? Well, I'm not as smart as the next person. Let me tell you something. There are 7, count them, 7 different types of intelligences. And most of the times, as a young child, as a teenager, as an adolescent, you were judged by just one, academics. And if you didn't get straight A's academically, you weren't deemed as intelligent. Do you understand that there are artistic people? There are dancers. There are musical. There are different ways that we learn. And most of your life, you probably never kind of stretch yourself or step outside of the box because maybe you thought you weren't intelligent. Maybe somebody told you you weren't smart. Maybe they went as far as to tell you you were dumb or stupid. And because of that, you've limited yourself. You're like, oh, I'm not smart. Oh, she's smart. Oh, he's smart. But I'm not smart. Yes, you are. You just have not tapped into your greatness. Look it up. There are 7 different types of intelligences. So you need to find out what are your strengths. And let's go work on those. We are always operating out of our weakness. But again, if we don't spend any time alone, how will we know what those strengths are? If we don't spend any time alone and start to trust ourselves. Because when we get alone, we be like, oh my Lord, I am a basket case. I've been through a lot. I've made some really bad decisions. I've made some really bad choices. This is awful. And then you start to spiral, right? So my suggestion to you is to observe yourself with non-judgment and forgive yourself for believing that you could have done better when you didn't even know how. You got to understand that if you did what you did what you did because you thought you were supposed to do what you did. Get excited. Nobody wakes up in the morning and say, I am going to get into this toxic relationship and destroy my life. I am going to have a baby with a man who doesn't have great fathering skills. I am going to marry a woman who is going to cheat on me. I am going to get involved in a job that's going to steal everything from me and then fire me. I am going to get evicted from this house. I am going to get my car repossessed. Oh, nobody sabotages themselves in that way. Nobody sabotages themselves in that way. So you have to believe that whatever you did at that time, you did the best. So since we already know there's nothing we can do about the past, since we already know we cannot go back and redeem those relationships, those monies, those decisions, since we already know, why don't we get excited about creating an amazing, phenomenal, magical, exciting future? Well, let's get passionate about it. Let's oh my Lord. Hey, Gwen. Let's get oh my Lord. If it was that bad, are you telling me it can be that good? Are you telling me that it can become great? Are you telling me that it can get better? Are you telling me that I can actually plan for joy? I can plan for happiness. I can plan for prosperity. If nothing else, I could at least go in that direction. Wow. See, what you don't understand is just the thought of that alone is exciting. Just the thought of that alone is that if I can make a deposit into myself, if I can steal 5 minutes from my day every single day, and I can speak affirmations over myself, I am strong, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am wise. If I can speak affirmations over myself every day, I am the lion, I am going to get it. I have nurturing relationships. I am where I want to be spiritually, physically, mentally, financially. If I can really be intentional about myself, I'm telling you right now, even before you actualize it, you're going to start walking different. Ask me how I know. You're going to start talking different. And see, when you start worrying about the deposits that are happening in your life, when you worry about the deposits, you're going to be more observant. You're not just going to go anywhere and do anything with anybody when you understand that every day you need to be making deposits, because I promise you, life is coming to make a withdrawal. So you know intentionally every day you need to be making deposits, which means that spiritually we're making deposits every day. Okay, these are my 5 minutes that I meditate. These are my 5 minutes that I'm faced with myself. Oh, it's scary. Oh, when I first started, I was crying like a baby. I was like, why in the world do I feel so rejected and abandoned? I'm being transparent with you guys. Why am I so needy? Why do I need so much approval? And I just had to keep asking myself those questions. Why do I feel like I need validation? Why do I feel like I need to be valued? And as I kept asking myself those questions and going down the rabbit hole, I had to go back to some original offenses in my life. And after I kept going back and asking myself the questions and spending time alone, I had to start forgiving people. And that ain't their fault. People treated you the way they felt about themselves. So you need to let that go and don't take nothing personal. You're tripping. Oh, my mama did this. My daddy did this. My brother did this. My sister did this. My person did this. My husband did this. Look. Look, people treat you the way they feel about themselves. Don't take it personal. You taking it personal is keeping yourself stuck. You taking it personal is keeping yourself in a time warp of pain, of hurt. So I want you to bust out of that box, right? And I want you to see your future the way you want it, full of happiness and joy. And I want you to say, okay, I am going to face myself. I am going to sit for 5 minutes. And I'm going to find out why I respond the way I respond. Why do I always go inside and think the worst? Why do I always take things personally? Why am I so emotional? And just ask yourself the question. And then you'll go back and you're like, oh, I remember when I was in the 3rd grade and, my classmates said this about me and they bullied me and they talked about me. And I've actually carried that voice in my head for the last 40 years. That person on gone on, lived their life. And I still am that third grader responding to those negative comments. It's time for me to let that go. It's time. It's just been swirling in my head. You know what my ex-husband said? It's been swirling in my head. What some family members, it's been swirling in my head. Let's let that go. And it doesn't serve us. We said it's time to elevate. We said it's time to figure out how we're going to make deposits in our life. We said it's time for us to figure out what is the next level, which means that we have to be intentional about our deposits. When we talk about deposits, we have to be intentional about people in our circle. And I want you to know that you are a reflection of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So let's go ahead and document that and get excited about that. I want you to think, get a paper and pen right now, and it's going to blow your mind. I want you to think of the top 5 people that you spend the most time with and write it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The top 5 people you spend the most time with. I want you to know that you are a reflection of those people. What I would like for you to do as an assignment, write this down. Write down the attributes of those people. Write down their characteristics of those people. Take some adjectives and say, they're fun. They're lively. Or you can write down they're negative. They're combative. Write down the characteristics of those people. And then I want you to take a look at that whole list. That's you. If you take a look at that list, I want you to know that that is you. So this would be a good time for you to understand that when you're making deposits into your life, you want to eliminate all of the withdrawals. So if you're around a person who you always have to pay, you always have to pick them up, you always have to bring things, you always have to take the lead, where's the reciprocity in that relationship? You need to be around people that make deposits into your life. You need to be around places, situations, experiences that makes deposits into your life. Seriously, it's that deep. Are you saying I got to look at my best friend and see if that is a fruitful, beneficial relationship? Of course. Because let me tell you, when there's 2, one is bringing one up and one is bringing one down. And if you analyze all the relationships in your life, you're going to find out if you are being overtaken or if you're the one lifting up. And please understand that you can't be the one lifting up 5 different people. You will deplete yourself. You have to have relationships in your life where people who are pouring into you, where people who are loving you, where people are sending to you that you're not always the giver. You're not always the giver. And they're always the taker. I've had relationships, I looked at them, I'm like, wow, this particular person been coming to my events for the last 20 years, never brought nothing, but they took 14 things when they left. You have to start, analyzing things and like, is this a give and take or is this a give and give? And then you'll realize you're being depleted. And that's why we fall into depression. And that's why we fall into anxiety, because we're constantly being pulled on. So our goal in believing in ourselves is to directly understand how well we know ourselves. I hope you know your favorite color. I hope you know your favorite meal. But I want you to know yourself and understand yourself. I want you to be intimate with yourself. Into me, I see. Oh, yeah, I see why I responded that way. Oh, yeah, I see why I was emotional. Oh, yeah, I see why I made that decision. I'm not going to beat myself up. Just today, I'm going to make a different decision. Get excited. I'm just going to make a different decision today. Because I've determined that I'm not going that way anymore. See, you have to understand how well you know yourself. And see, what has happened is I am reintroducing myself to myself. I'm actually recreating myself. I am not the woman I was yesterday. I am not the woman I was last year. I am not the woman I was when I was a teenager, when I was a young mother. Oh, I'm not her. Oh, you ain't been around me in a minute. That's okay. Oh, I ain't her. I'm telling you today. When you start to fall in love with yourself and you start to believe in yourself and you start to have a high self-esteem and a confidence, people can sense it and they move differently with you. And I love that. I love that so much. I'm kind of addicted to it. But I want you guys to know that in believing in yourself, your 2023 is going to be absolutely incredible. Your 2023 is going to be so amazing that you are going to tap into your power within. See, I told you solitude is our superpower. Get excited. That if you don't have 5 minutes, you don't have a life. You better take 5 minutes. I told you, everybody's going to be online trying to get your money. Everybody's going to be like, you need this, you need that, you need this. Why? Because they know everybody's heightened right now. It's like New Year's resolution on steroids. Everybody want to change their life. What happened in February, in March, April, May, June, July, August? You know what? They knew you weren't being intentional. And they knew you were going to wait till this time. So they're waiting for you. So before you buy another program, before you join another conference, just see if it works. I'm all on educating yourself. I'm all on elevating yourself. I'm all on that. But I'm just going to say, just see. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that instead of. I want you to do that in addition to. I didn't say don't do it. Do it in addition to. But don't do that instead of. Well, I'm not going to get to know myself. I'm not going to find out my true self. I'm just going to sign up for this course. The value you will get by sitting alone. I've gotten so much value. And I was able to move differently. I was able to help myself. My higher self was talking to me like, baby girl, I've been waiting for you. You're beautiful. You're loving. You deserve love. You're so wonderful. You have a committed spirit. You're very reliable. You're very devoted. You have a lot of loyalty. Now, let's use that towards you. Can you be devoted to yourself, Monifa? Can you be loyal to yourself, Monifa? I know you want to be known as the most loving, most generous person. Get excited, the most powerful, positive person. But can you be positive to yourself when you're feeling down? Can you lift yourself up like you want to lift everybody else up? When I had to ask myself the hard questions, I came back with a hard no. And I said, okay, let's make this a yes. Let's make this a yes. So everybody, that's our time. I want you to know that I'm always honored to serve you because I know that my 25 plus years of experience is helping someone. I'm so honored to serve you each and every Monday, live at 5. But I'm going to make a special request for you to serve yourself 5 minutes a day. I'm going to make a very special request for all of the things that you desire from your husband, from your wife, from your friends, from your family, all of those things that you will actually, for Christmas, give it to yourself. Get excited about that. You respect yourself, love yourself, and value yourself, and that's exciting. So with that being said, may God continue to shine his face upon you And may God be gracious to you and grant you peace. We forgive ourselves for believing that we should have done better when we didn't know how. And we also forgive others for the same. They're in the same boat as us, just trying to make it. But see, we believe that things are going to start going our way. And we accept that. Because what we want wants us. It's already done. I hope you believe it. It's already done. We already have it. It's already ours. Have an amazing, phenomenal day on purpose. I will see you tomorrow, live at 5.